Welcome home, Raiders. Tonight, the Diamond Dwarf comic is out right now. All of that and so much more as Convert to Raid presents the Battlenet News. Everybody, from the Battlenet News broadcast bunker in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is May 29th, 2018, and it is now 9:08 in the PM Central Time. Thank you so much for joining us from around the Blizzard universe. My name is Pat Crane. I'm your host of this show, and as always, we've got a couple of players in the hot seats, and we will go to them right now. From Merely a Setback, a podcast about the stories of WoW and more, it's Sharku!
I'm super excited, Pat Crane. I'm super excited.
Well, that is good.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited to be on the show, but I'm also very super excited because after we finished recording Merely a Setback last night, I got some news from a potential guest host. We're trying to schedule someone very special for our show.
Oh boy.
That I know. And they're like, yeah, sure, I can be on the show. How about next Monday? And I'm like, okay. And we didn't get to announce it on Merely Setback. So, live announcement today, Merely Setback is going to be joined by Scott Johnson of the Instance WoW Podcast Royalty. And we're very excited. He's going to talk about nerdy lore stuff, and we'll see what he doesn't seem to be known for his lore knowledge, but I bet he knows more than he thinks he does.
Okay, well, we only have 20 seconds for the music, so I got to get to the next one. All right, from Lagging Balls, we also have with us, it's Thorn. Hello, Thorn.
Hey, my name's Thorn. Damn glad to be here.
See, that's the way you do an intro there, Shark. We only had 20 seconds left of music. You can't hear it, though, because we have a little new setup today, and it's not really my favorite, but that's okay.
I figured Scott Johnson is super important, more important than music.
Sure. To you, sure. No, but that's really cool. So Scott Johnson.
Production value, Shark.
Right. Scott Johnson on Merely a Setback next week.
That's going to be it.
All right.
That's going to happen.
That's awesome. Thorn, how are you? What's going on, man?
I am great on this Mun Tuesday.
Mun Tuesday.
Yes, upon this Mun Tuesday, I am a hero today, ladies and gentlemen. I saved a kitten this morning on my way to work.
I heard about that.
Yeah, no joke. I have, I don't know if you can see it. I have the teeny tiny itty bitty scars to prove it.
It looks like you were attacked by a kitten.
Yeah, well, she wasn't happy about it, but she was running in traffic. She was literally running in traffic. What are you going to do?
Right.
So I scooped her up, and but I'm a heavier guy. She gave me a run for it, and but I had to catch her first.
She was fighting out of her weight class, but she still had her own bed.
Yeah. She was the featherweight, and I was the heavyweight, and
all right.
When I finally caught her, I won. But you should have seen. I bet it was a sight to see, honestly. Just like huffing and puffing, like waving my hands. Please slow down. Please don't run me over.
Right,
there's a kitty.
Right,
beautiful.
Yeah. Tiny cat, please stop.
It's a cute little kitty too.
Oh yeah, she's adorable. She's about this big. And she's jet black, really cute. Because she's a kitten. I haven't seen a lot of kittens that aren't absolutely adorable.
Right.
But she was running headlong into traffic. So of course I just, pull over. I'm pretty sure I put it in park. I might have just let it run off into the distance and then just bailed out.
Right.
And then went after the cat. But so I was able to track her down, scooped her up, jumped back into the car, turned toward home, and just took her back. Called my boss, like, I'm gonna be a few minutes late. I'm bleeding.
Right.
Oh God!
But there's a kitten.
Well, that's cool, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I may be developing cat scratch fever. We'll see. But
well, just keep an eye on it. Maybe get some ointment ready for it. I don't know. Ointment. Yes, or unguent.
I heard cat scratch fever is a real deal, though, like an actual thing.
Really?
That's kind of serious. Not just an awesome song.
No, I think it's kind of well, it's an old song.
Yeah, Ted Nugent,
that's
right?
for sure. That was Ted Nugent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nuge.
It's Steven.
I met him once. That's a story for a different
funny
show.
story about that.
Oh God!
That was the first concert I ever went to with my mom, who was watching tonight's show.
The
Shout out to
Nuge.
Mom.
Wow.
Oh boy!
Hi, Thorn's mom. All right, let's get moving. So let's talk a little bit about gaming stuff now. No more cats. No more
Scott Johnson's.
No more Scott. Well, Scott Johnson is pretty cool.
Shameless plugs.
But let's talk more about gaming stuff. What have you guys been up to in games? And Shark, I'll start with you. What's going on, man?
Well, I've been playing a lot of alts on World of Warcraft because I feel like that's all that's left of the game. And last week we talked a little bit about my dilemma with, am I going to play Horde? Am I going to play Alliance? Yep. I had been playing a lot of Horde, but I just leveled up my Alliance Hunter, my Worgen Hunter named Jim Corbett. And me and Jimmy are on Argus now, trying to get some gear.
Okay.
Playing around. I don't know, but that's mostly what I've been doing in games. And then every now and again playing some MOBAs with the guys and stuff like that. But yeah, try to keep WoW alive for me. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like we're going to be getting some new content soonish. Pretty soon. I want to be ready for it.
Yeah.
I want to be in the groove.
And we should be getting new content soonish. I didn't check before the show, but I didn't see anything on the PTR yet.
I didn't see anything yet either. No.
So there's nothing like imminent out there for live servers yet. So just hang tight. I know that Blizzard gave away like 4,000 beta keys last week. So everybody's getting in on the beta at least, which is great. But we should be getting something. So when do you think 8.0 is going to drop?
8.0?
Yeah.
Live?
So this is the pre-patch to the expansion. This is the content that goes in before the actual expansion, which is August 14th, right? I think
PTR is going to drop Tuesday, and I think 8.0 will be out
next week,
3 to 4 weeks. This coming, a week from
June
recording,
whatever it is,
June 2nd, I think, or 5th, and then I think we see the pre-patch drop the 4-ish weeks after that, 3 to 4 weeks after that.
So after the July 4th weekend for us.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
yeah,
gotcha.
That's my prediction.
That doesn't sound too shabby. I don't think. I think you're.
Not at all.
I think you're within a week or two on the other side of that.
Yeah.
So
it's got to kind of be because we're going to see the expansion on August 14th, right? So it's got to be.
I would probably push it a little bit later, but not a lot. So
yeah.
So I mean, there's stuff coming. And we will
coming.
It's coming around the bend. But Thorn, I heard that you were playing Nexomania and HOTS.
I did play a little Nexomania.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of it, and oh my god, that art is spectacular.
It really is
so good.
It really is
it's so good.
I think I think it's the best looking thing that Blizzard has done for pretty much any game, and
it is mind-bogglingly good.
So yeah, it's really good.
It is out of this world good. It is just so on, and all of the little accoutrements that they put together for it, like Sonya's alt, where she dives in. I forget what it's called. I don't play her, but where she dives in. Thank you.
Yeah. Heroic. That's it. Yeah.
That's the one. I think it's called.
Right.
You're right. You're right.
I was wrong. Makes the fencing around. It's so good.
Yeah.
And then the Chihuahua with the mask. It's so good.
The Diablo's
Pignata.
Diablo skin is great too. Yeah,
the skin is so good. And then the Lunara skin, and then the version that's like the day glow, like the glow in the dark almost. Like,
yep.
Yeah,
it's so good. It's just so incredibly stylistic, and it's so on.
Yep.
It's just spectacular. So good all around.
Day
Every little
touch. Day of the Dead luchador.
Yes.
Stuff. I mean, it's just so cool, and they've knocked it out of the park.
Spectacular.
Right. I will.
Other than that, I never played the original BioShock, so I picked up the BioShock Remastered on Steam. So I played through that on stream over a series of different streams, and I finally finished that this past week, the final chapter of it, and it was spectacular. I understand now why it's such a classic. Played a ton of the Overwatch anniversary event. Dove headlong into the new Petra map on the free-for-all deathmatch in Overwatch. Love it. It's huge.
It's so big. I mean, for an FFA map, for this deathmatch map, it is incredibly huge. It actually has. It feels like it's two maps put together because there's like a little section where you're inside, and then there's a section where you're outside. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And I kept getting that notification that you might be booted from the map. And I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And I mentioned it to Fist, and she's like, it's because you haven't killed anybody in too long. And I was like, oh.
because you weren't like fighting anybody, or because you hadn't
Because I suck? Okay, thanks a lot.
well, that can happen too.
Thanks a lot, Luke.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot. I've been playing a lot of that. Been playing a lot of all of the arcade modes, because they've been rolling through all of the Overwatch special events, Lucio Ball and May's Snowball Fight and like all that stuff. So I've been playing that, and then I realized, man, I am not getting any more green dots. I don't get any more loot that way. So it's just through XP, and I'm like, well, this is fun at least, but at the same time, maybe I should move on to something else and
why aren't you getting the green dots?
Well, because I was maxed out on green dots. Now I'm back to 0. So actually, even today, I think I'm back at like 4 or 5. So I'll
doing it for the love, man.
I'll be fine for a while. Well, people like loot. I am no exception.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So there. I did want to bring up some things before we talked about all of the things happening in World of Warcraft and Overwatch and other games as they may be happening. The first one is about probably one of the biggest names ever in StarCraft for sure, but in just kind of Blizzard, like outside Blizzard creators. Had a huge following, 2.2 million subs on YouTube. And of course I'm talking about Total Biscuit. And unfortunately, this last week he passed away. He was 33 years old. Was fighting cancer for a while. Went into remission. Came back. And this is a thing. And I know that there are a lot of people that are sad, trying to figure out how to deal with it. And I saw a lot of love come out on Twitter about TB just in general. Whether or not you liked his stuff or you didn't, and I know that he was pretty divisive. He was
one of the best things about him,
right? And he was, but at the same time, people would say he was kind of a jerk. Yeah, but he was also honest. He was also trying to be honest. He was trying to push people to the next level and try to make them not be just kind of lazy game makers or what have you. I mean. And the only way that I know him, I met him back in 2013 at BlizzCon, and he was nice to me. It was fine. It was like, I don't know, it was like less than 5 minutes of me just hanging out by him while he was talking to like Jesse Cox. Because I mean, you can't get a word in edgewise between those two guys, and so I was just like standing there. So he was nice to me. He didn't notice me at all. But then last year for TwitchCon, he actually filled in I wouldn't say he filled in for me, but he did fill in for me because I couldn't make it. And so the guys were like, well, if you can't make it, then who are we going to get? And I said, I saw that John Bain was available to do more stuff. Maybe he could just jump in. And the other guys knew him a little bit because it was Chan Man was one of the guys that was with me. And so he asked TB and he jumped in, slid right in, took over the entire show.
Yeah.
as usual. So, his style won't be copied easily. So, very unique individual, very cool guy. It was into a lot of stuff. I don't know if you guys have anything to say. I just kind of wanted to bring it up at the beginning of the show. It's
just sad. I mean, he died at 33. Yep. That's too young for anybody. And he's like I said, maybe a divisive character, but he really, as far as content creation for Blizzard games and especially WoW early on, I know he didn't cover it nearly as much, if at all, later on, but he paved the way for a lot of folks.
Well, and he was big into, huge into StarCraft.
Oh yeah, and absolutely.
I mean, his voice is in StarCraft as well as one of the announcers or whatever, and so that's pretty cool. But yeah, he's been involved with Blizzard Gaming for the last 10, 15 years, something like 13 years, I think. So when he was first invited back in whatever year that was to BlizzCon.
Yeah.
So
I've just always appreciated his honesty and his wry wit and how he kept everyone honest.
Yeah.
His handle was Cynical Brit. He was right out there with what you saw was what you got, and the edge that he kept, and the fact that he kept everyone honest and that he was a champion of indie gaming is part of what will live on in his legacy. So I very much appreciate what he's leaving behind. I think everybody does, and I think we lost somebody very valuable to the community there.
Yep, and unfortunately, this is I've been through cancer, and everybody knows that's a horrible, absolutely the worst thing ever. I've been through that in my family a couple of times now in the last 5 years, and so it kind of hits a little bit of a nerve for me. So yeah. But TB, you will be missed. Thank you so much for all that you've done for the community. Thank you, and actually shaping the way that people talk about games. He's really kind of shaped that as well. So yeah, it's very sad. And we do need to move on to the rest of the news and stuff like that. And so I thought I would talk a little bit about BlizzCon, because last week we were talking about tickets for BlizzCon, and tickets, of course, for BlizzCon are gone. They're just gone. But there are still actually for the opening week, if you can make it into LA the week before BlizzCon, the opening week's tickets, lots of stuff still available. So including backstage tours and all of this kind of stuff. So you can get tickets for the HOTS matches, for the WoW Arena, for the backstage tours, which actually gets you into see some StarCraft 2 play as well. And what else? Overwatch.
Yeah. God, but I'd love to go to those. I can't wait to see that arena.
Oh, it's off the hook. I heard it was
not
awesome.
Very expensive either. The matches are $30, and there's behind the scenes tours as well for $50.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not bad at all, and there's still tickets available. So make sure to snap them up if you can, if you're going to be in the area that week before BlizzCon. It should be pretty sweet. Should be sweet. I'm digging it. Thorn, are you going to go to the Overwatch League finals because I know you're in the New York area, so.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Already have tickets.
Oh yeah. What week is that?
Are you going, Pat?
No, I don't think so.
Overwatch finals are July. Googling fast.
July.
They are Overwatch finals at the Barclays Center in New York, July 27th and 28th.
Oh, man. I kind of wonder what they're going to do for the setup and stuff like that at the Barclays Center. So
the stage setup?
Yeah, stage setup and all that kind of stuff. They're going to make it look like the Burbank thing at all.
Oh, yeah.
Who's playing the halftime show?
That would be me. I've got pasties and
wow,
a sombrero.
Wow.
I wonder if they do have like a special like event or whatever for like an intermission something. That would be.
I hope it's the Rockettes.
Silliness.
There's
the Rockettes.
There's too many games because they're going to have like 6 teams there or something like that.
Oh yeah, so, it's going to be a whole event tournament. I know.
I honestly, I really hope they do like an All Stars. If they're not going to do something like an All Stars event, then I think they're missing an opportunity there.
Dazzledorn in chat says Nickelback.
No, Nickelback.
It's going to be Nickelback.
I'm not going then. I'm not going. No way. Not going to go. All right. Speaking of not going to go, it's time to go to the CTR Top 10. And then I'll play this music right here. There we go. Okay. So I was trying to come up with a topic for this week's top 10, and I came up with the perfect one. Now, Thorn, you've seen the pictures of Swol.
Oh yeah.
So Brian Holinka, one of the developers at Blizzard, no longer with the WoW team. We don't know what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Besides getting Swol.
Right, besides getting Swol. So he went from dad bod to hard bod in about 16 months, and he put it on Twitter. And so I was like, we're getting ready for BlizzCon now, so let's talk about the top 10 best ways to get Swol for BlizzCon 2018.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Right. So so it's the top 10 best ways to get Swol for BlizzCon 2018. All right, here we go. Number 10, pretend it's vanilla WoW and walk while questing.
Yes!
Just everywhere.
That's a good one.
Number 9, bench press your WoW expansion collector's editions.
Yes.
Number 8, supplement your diet with organic mana buns.
Organic?
Mana buns. So good. And then number 7, this is the top 10 best ways to get Swole for BlizzCon. Number 7, learn all of the new allied race dances.
Ooh.
There are 12 that we know of.
Oh, wow. I haven't even seen them all yet.
Because you got 3 on each, you got 3 new races on each side, and each one has male and female dances.
Yep.
So get ready.
Watch me whip. Watch me nay-nay.
Number 6, stop eating food after every single raid wipe. Stop. Don't do it.
No promises.
No more food buffs. That's what or you could do it the other way. You could do it the other way, and you can. Number 5 is raid and wipe a lot. The reps will give you tone. You get some good tone out of that. All right. Number 4, and this is for OWL fans, for Overwatch League fans. Wear a Boston Uprising jersey to an NYXL viewing party, and don't forget your running shoes. If you don't know, Boston and New York have a bit of a history. Number 3.
Actually, that's in Chinatown, and you will get your running in.
Number 3. Lower your sodium. Don't play competitive mode.
Get it? Because salt.
Yeah! Number 2. And this goes for undead players. No more late night snacking on the corpses of your enemies.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it. And the number 1 best way to get swole for BlizzCon 2018 is cosplay 6-pack abs. There we go.
Woo!
That's it.
That's it!
Oh, wow.
There we go. Okay, now we're done with that. I'll get rid of that music.
Nice, Pat. Nice.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it.
That was a good one. That might be my favorite top 10 ever.
That makes up for last week, because last week we didn't have one.
No, that was a controversial thing, too. People were very upset about not having the top 10.
Freaked out, and I got word on Twitter that some people were very upset.
They turned on us hard.
They went, "What? You're just letting this go? Come on!"
Yeah.
You would have been better off not mentioning it instead of
right. Just go on. Just move on.
It's been worse than when Colt announced his retirement. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was not good.
That was a good topic, Pat. Like, you came back strong on that.
Thanks, buddy.
That was great.
Thanks, buddy.
Great.
All right, let's talk a little bit of news. And we will go right into World of Warcraft.
A clever strategy.
Thank you. Okay, so we are still in beta mode, as we said. There is nothing yet on the PTR. There is so we don't have that 8.0 coming anytime soon that we are aware of. But on the beta, we saw some updates to Fury Warrior, Disc Priest. I know Prot Paladins are in the works as well. A bunch of stuff, in other words, we're not really done yet. And right. I don't know if you guys have been on the beta. Thorn, have you been on the beta at all?
I have not. Avoiding
all the spoilers.
Avoiding those. Yep. Avoiding all the spoilers like, whoa.
For me it's
well, I can give you the spoilers right now. See what happens. See
what happened was.
See now, well, part of the problem that I have with playing in the beta is that I know that I'm going to have to play it again when it goes live, and then I'm going to play it again after the first character. Then I got to get another character up, and then I got to get another one. And then I probably got to get one of those allied races all the way up from level 30 or whatever, or 20, and that's going to be a pain. So, how many times do you want to play it? Right?
Just doing it for the community.
That's for me too.
Everybody well informed.
Yes.
And I jump in the beta every now and again. Every now and again. What?
Every
Hello,
now
words?
And ago. Yeah.
Every now and again, I'm in the beta, and like for some of these new changes, the problem is these classes that they're changing a lot right now. I don't play much, like Warrior and Disc Priest, and I don't know them. That's not classes that I really play a whole lot, so it's hard for me to say anything about it. But what I do know is they are moving into this realm of tuning, right? They have a basic understanding of how they want the classes to play, and they're already pulling some stuff back, like the big thing about GCDs. They're already trying to take some other things off the GCD and pull back a little bit to keep in mind with their vision of what they're doing. But they're playing a little bit with tuning, with nerfs and buffs, and maybe we're going to take this ability away, but we're going to add this, we're going to make this basic, and kind of try and not big super changes. I think in general, they feel like
well.
Some
of
them are big super changes. What I'm saying, they don't want to make any big super changes, but they are starting to.
They're playing with us. They're playing with us, and here's what we saw on beta recently. We saw that they nerfed tank threat into the ground.
That's something that is a big one.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily. Yeah. No,
I'm okay with it because we're in beta, so anything can happen, and they might change it. Who knows? Don't get too upset, guys.
Can I tell you my unpopular opinion?
About 1 billion times, though. Hasn't that come and gone? Tank generation has come and gone about isn't that just that's a hills and valleys thing, throughout the history of the game? I
think sort of, but I mean, once we got to about Wrath, tank generation, threat generation was a no deal. They might have made it higher or less or whatever, but for the most part, if your tank taunts something and hits it, it's got threat, period. Right? And my unpopular opinion is I think threat generation should be more of tank gameplay, not just survivability.
Well,
but tank is kind of, I don't want to say boring, because there's some really difficult mechanics you have to do as a tank and do it right for survivability. But at the same time, I think having them focus on something like threat instead of damage would be more interesting gameplay as a tank. Not like a super awesome in-game, mythic rating tank. But I did tank for Asparagus Initiative for a while, several times, and I tanked for the casuals. And so but I did always find it kind of like my whole job is to just make sure I stay alive, and I really only have to pay attention at this one or two really important part of the game, of most encounters. Not all of them, obviously. It's a lot more complex than that. I don't want tanks to be, I get it. It's not just, but I think it would be a more fun way to play if everything I was doing, I have to do my rotation right to generate the threat I need to make sure that the DPS doesn't pull off.
Well, what I really liked, and was the Wrath of the Lich King. Yes. So during Wrath, I remember playing a lot as a hunter with threat, and so I would be directing, the ads to go to the tank or whoever. And so there was a lot more kind of gameplay like that. And you would always find that the high DPS guys would be able to peel certain mobs off of the tanks, right? And it helps you focus on what you need to do, I think. Let the off tank deal with the ads, and don't hit him at all. Just let him, get threat, and then you go. And so it's kind of a fun, kind of a retro feel to it.
Yeah, I miss that.
And essentially what's happening is that right now on live, tanks generate anywhere from 10 to 20 times the threat that a DPS could based off of the same actions or whatever, right?
Right.
And now it's at 4. So we went from 10 to 20. Most of it's at 20, especially now that everybody's geared out and everything has their artifacts all nice and spiffy. I don't know.
Right.
So now they're up towards 20 times. So there's no way anybody's going to get pull threat off of any tank whatsoever. And then they're going all the way back down to 4. So now they're saying, oh, it's too easy for you? Well, get good, bro, because here it comes.
Right. Now you're going to have to figure out how to do it. And the problem right now is tanks are in a weird spot anyway with even their survivability. Like I know a lot of tanks are feeling really, really spiky because of the stat squish, the haste threshold is so much less favorable for you, right? So you could be going a long time without any active mitigation. And depending on the class, I was watching some Preach videos and he explains it a lot better than me. Go check it out. But there are some classes that you could be without mitigation for quite a long time. So I don't know. I think there's some stuff they have to fix with that. But if you think about it, if threat is the amount of damage that you're doing on the boss, right? And tanks are generating 4 times more threat. I mean, depending on your tank, there are going to be some DPS that are pulling more than 4 times your damage.
Yeah.
And are going to be pulling it off the boss. So there's got to be some way to play with it. But I like that idea that the tank has to not only be worrying about survivability, but actively maintaining the threat. Because that's what it feels like a tank for me. You have to get you have to get the boss to attack you. That's the challenge. And that's what it was in Vanilla and Summon BC. And you really have
catching the wave you're sending out, man. I'm catching the wave you're sending out.
Yeah.
I came up in Wrath.
Fun.
And I came up in Wrath, so I'm accustomed to this. This is when I first started. There were certain tenets that my established players taught me. They said things like, "Do not run in front of the tank. Do not attack before the tank attacks." There was just certain basics that they taught me. Yeah. These were things that I learned. And to this day, if I'm running a 5-man dungeon, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's old hackneyed content at all. It doesn't matter how old it is or whatever. To this day, if I see a DPS doing that, it drives me crazy. I can't stand it. There are just certain tenets about this game that are so deeply ingrained in me that it drives me nuts. So, and that's one of them.
No, I hear you.
I've been in dungeons before where I'll sit down if the DPS is pulling. I'll just sit down.
Yeah, go for it. Go nuts. Let's see you handle that.
Yeah.
But see, that's definitely one of them. So I feel like there's a good middle ground, right? Because in Wrath, it was almost too far the other way, where you had to sit there and wait.
Yeah.
And you had to let the tank just beat on something for a while before you could do anything, and that was too much. And I don't know if there's maybe some sort of middle ground where you can start and like Pat, you mentioned the hunter thing where you could redirect, and that makes sense because you're assisting with the threat. But for other people, I feel like, or for other classes, I mean, I feel like there's got to be some sort of middle ground where you can assist and be active without having to just kind of sit and wait.
Back in vanilla, the old players remember stacking sunders, right?
Oh yeah.
You wait till 4 sunders.
That's right.
Do not touch the boss. Put your hands off your keyboard until you see 4 sunders. Then you can go.
That's right. 50 for your minus.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that if they keep it like this, it'll be very interesting to see what happens in dungeons, especially not necessarily right away, but as we progress through the patch, because you'll start to see these latecomers come in, and that would be fun. That could be a bunch of fun chaos to try to pick apart. So
somebody wasn't paying attention.
That'll be great, and it should make raiding a little bit more enjoyable. I think it'll give raid tanks another fun little yo-yo to play with, right? And I think that it'll be an interesting thing to see how teams accomplish their goals with maybe using some strategies based on threat.
Well, and it reminds me a little bit of vengeance tanking. In the sense of you had to make a choice as to whether or not you wanted to take the damage and do more and thus do more damage. And those of you that don't know what vengeance tanking was in Mists of Pandaria, it was the more damage a tank does. Was it vengeance? I think it was. But the more damage a tank takes, the more damage it will do. So as a blood decay, I was topping healing meters and DPS meters as the tank.
That was Kata, right?
The whole way through. That was, I think it might have started at the end of Kata, but it was, because I remember doing it on Malkorok and Siege of Orgrimmar. Like, there was no way anybody was going to come close to me on the meter in Malkorok, because I was just taking hits to the face without mitigating it all, and then just doing an incredible amount of damage and healing it all up with my blood strike. So, but anyway, it was so
great,
much
Shark.
fun.
Please join my group.
But it was this idea of you have to make a choice to where you're going to mitigate this damage or you need to get more threat. And the healers are going to have to heal you through getting more threat, which is going to cause more threat. Like, I think it could be a really interesting way to play the game, but the problem is right now there's not even enough mitigation going on to keep some of these tanks safe without worrying about that. So I don't know if they bake it into mitigation and, mitigation abilities cause high threat or something. But I think it'll be interesting, and I would like to see how it plays out.
They'll work on it, and they still have time, because, like I said, we don't have 8.0 up on PTR yet. We don't know exactly what's going on with it. I'm guessing that this is a drastic starting point.
Yeah, and if they exactly, they realize that this isn't working. They're doing more raid testing right now too. They realize this isn't working in raid testing. They're going to give some of that threat gen back, or they're going to figure out a way to solve that problem. They're not going to want tanking to be so completely unfun that people don't do it. They've had that problem before. They don't want to go back there.
They could also play with it a little bit with the Azerite armor selections that you can make on your gear as well.
Maybe.
So that
you
maybe
now generate 20% more threat.
You can,
or something.
You can maybe decide that you need more threat, or maybe you need less threat because you want something else to make sure that you can do whatever job you're doing.
Here's my threat gear. Here's my damage gear.
Right.
My understanding is that Azerite just makes your gear more shiny.
That's
definitely
pretty much
does
what it
that.
is. Yeah,
it makes it more yellow.
It's like a spit shine. Yeah, that's what it does.
Perfect.
I think it's mainly just making it more yellow. I don't know.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Okay, some other things that are on the that are on our radar for the on the beta right now.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had a clarification to the Pathfinder achievement, the part 1 that starts the unlock for flying. And it was this: you don't have to do both sides of the quest line. So there's 2 quest lines, one for Alliance, one for Horde. Mm-hmm. You only need one of those. You only need to progress on one path to make sure that is a thing. So if you took a look at if you took a look at the Pathfinder achievement for the part 1, it says, hey, you can do the Horde side. And the Alliance side. No, it's not and, it's or. It's big or the Alliance side, and you'll be fine. Don't worry about
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not sure, this might still be some confusion, but after you unlock the other faction's island, are there some, like, for example, if once I hit 120 and I do the war mode or whatever, and I can go to Zandalar, are there alliance factions over there that I have to grind rep with? Or I don't know. I heard that there might be, but I don't know.
I think that there's there's a big, huge quest line, and that is for a battle. There's a battle being fought, and so we are going to be progressing through this. And remember, Miss of Pandaria, where it started, how we were on the fighting on those islands,
one side or the other. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be kind of like that. And we'll see exactly where it goes, but
the important clarification is in order to get flying, you don't have to have a character on either faction leveled all the way up with rep.
That's true. And I am trying not to play through that stuff because I don't want to know, and I don't want to spoil it for our listeners or anything like that. So, but I do know that there are giant quest lines for the war. For the battle for Azeroth, the actual battle part, so that we can, have that Alliance v Horde feel for a little bit until so and so comes in and ruins it all.
Or
whoever so and so may be,
or
you
just never get flying at all,
or we just never get flying at all. Yeah, no.
I think Blizzard has given up on that idea.
There are people who do that.
Sure.
Just never get flying. I don't.
I know people who do that.
I don't doubt that.
I didn't get flying in. I didn't get flying in Warlords.
I didn't get it until much later. I ended up buying all the rep because at some point there was a way to buy like tokens on the auction house that gave you rep for the Tanar area.
Oh yeah.
Factions, and so I ended up just buying a bunch of those to get the rep for that because I did not want to grind it.
Well, what if I told you I don't have flying now?
That's perfectly fine.
That's
if it's not important to you, it's not important to you. It's very important to me.
It's fine. It's a little weird though, Thorn. It's a little strange.
He's like spinning around.
He's spinning around in his chair.
It's very eerie. This is terrifying.
Right. So if you're listening to the audio, make sure to check out the video as well, because Thorn is just spinning around in his chair. All right.
Like an evil mastermind.
So there was that. Also along with this Pathfinder achievement, which kind of goes along the same line. It's essentially part of the same deal, almost. Mm-hmm. We found out what it takes to unlock the Dark Iron and the Maghar. So it's basically level up, do the quest, do the Battle for Azeroth, war stuff, and you'll be fine. You'll unlock Dark Iron dwarves, you'll unlock Maghar orcs, and everything will be just fine. It'll take a little bit. It'll take probably like 5 or 6 weeks. It looks like. I mean, if they break out each chapter per week.
If they do the chapters the way that they did in Suramar. Now, if it's all doable on launch, then great. It shouldn't take too long at all.
I think they're going to gate it, though.
Yeah, I think they would.
Yeah,
and some of those
some of those are probably bigger too. So I was kind of looking through them.
I don't think you'll be able to. I think you'll see your first allied races around the time that the first raid opens up, is what my guess would be. But it's going to be that quest line, and also your faction's new faction has to be leveled to exalted. Is one of the things that a lot of people were thinking that was just the quest line. But the information that's come out also says that, for example, for the Alliance is the 7th Legion or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to level that up to exalted. But I wouldn't be surprised, just questing to 120, that you would be pretty deep into revered, if not
It would
if not
probably
all
be
the way there.
pretty okay. You wouldn't need to necessarily grind a lot, I don't think.
You'll have to do a little bit of grinding after that, but that particular rep, I think we'll probably be getting a lot of that just doing the leveling stuff.
I'm just showing the Iron Dwarves female because it's amazing.
They're great.
Oh, so cool. Everybody knows the Maghar already.
Yeah.
I have those too. I can play those as well. But I mean, they're just so awesome. It's like, why wouldn't you? Thorn, why wouldn't you?
Those are really, really cool.
The chest piercings on the Maghar orcs are scary.
Yeah, they are.
Are you intimidated?
So that's
turned on, maybe?
That'll be in the first, month or whatever of Battle for Azeroth. Get into those, and then you'll have a new thing to level from 30 because you want to get the armor sets, right?
Right.
Oof.
Yeah.
And that'll be a long grind.
Is it going to be 30 or 20? Are they starting these ones at 30?
Do they start at 20 or 30?
They start at 20 now.
Okay. All right. Then it'll be 20.
Okay. Yeah.
Ugh. 20.
Because I was thinking, well, maybe now that you have 10 more levels to level, maybe they will give it a 30. But no, I think 20 makes sense.
20.
But that is still 100. You got to think that's 100 levels.
Yikes.
And then the 100 hardest levels, 1 to 20, you could do in a day.
And then you go, do I really want that heritage armor?
Right.
Or do I have $60?
I won't be boosting. I won't be boosting. But I will be race swapping.
Oh,
definitely.
Oh, I'm definitely doing that.
Definitely. I'll be getting a dark iron.
Yes.
I think we said this before about allied races. People are like, oh, the Horde got the coolest allied races for, the new ones. And I know a lot of people are big fans of Void Elves. We won't get into that. If you want to hear my feelings about Void Elves, you can listen to my other show. But it's, I do agree. I think the Horde, the Nightborn and the High Mountain Tauren are a lot more interesting than the Void Elves and the Lightforge for me personally. But I think the Alliance win this one with the new races coming out. The Dark Iron and the Kultirans.
Oh, the Kultirans are amazing.
Especially the Druid form. That's all I want is a Kultiran Druid.
That's it. That's all
I want.
That's the only reason.
That's what's gonna. I've been feeling the tug of the Horde, like I need to go back home to my people, but I think the Kultirans might keep me Alliance side.
Yeah,
I really do. Yep. It's going to be great.
Yep.
They do look pretty cool.
Yeah. So the other thing that we have on tap for World of Warcraft stuff is the thing that actually happened today, which is that there is a new Magni comic, Magni the Diamond Dwarf. And he talks to Azeroth, personal friend of Azeroth, all that kind of stuff. But we have a new comic. It's called The Speaker. It is out now. Go read it. It's pretty cool. And I know that you guys read it just before the show. Thorn, I want to hear your thoughts on what you saw, what you read.
Well, I can't share them with you because I read the wrong one.
Oh, nice.
Oh, no.
Nice. Did you read the Jaina one?
No, I read the Rise of the Raven Lord.
Well, that's the
Heroes of the Storm one.
That's the HOTS one. What did you think of that one?
It was excellent, but I clearly clicked the wrong one, and
well,
so Sharku, what did you think about the Magni comic book?
And I've heard some people I've heard folks say that they're not super thrilled about the comics or meh, but I disagree on that point. I think both the Jaina and the Magni comic have been really interesting, and taking these characters that both of them can seem kind of flat if you really don't jump into the lore and really don't kind of play around with their reasons for decisions that they're making or whatnot. They flesh these characters out really good. This particular comic with Magni brings into light, he's not just this speaker of Azeroth that we kind of see him. We almost feel like, okay, he's not really a character anymore. He's just a voice for the planet. And that's what it's felt like throughout this entire expansion. But this particular comic really humanizes him in a cool way. It discusses his past with his wife and with Moira growing up, and it's a really, really interesting, really interesting read, I think, and it really helps kind of flesh out his character.
Yeah, it's cool. It's deep. It's deep,
right?
So, you know, no spoilers or anything like that, but it's pretty cool. I liked it. You know, and the artwork is awesome, and
yeah,
you know, the story says what it needs to say, I think, to set us up for some of the things that are going to happen in battle.
Well, and it's interesting because of the characters that Bazaroth, the characters they're choosing Jaina to talk about. Obviously, we understand that Jaina's going to play, has already played a huge role in this expansion. And now Magni. We don't know who the third one is yet, I don't think. My money's on Sylvanas, but yeah.
I don't think so. Because we're going to get such a big dose of Sylvanas in the beginning that I don't know that we're necessarily
going to get a big dose of Jaina, too. The reason I say Sylvanas is we got Jaina, who's going to be Alliance side, Magni, who's neutral, and then Sylvanas, who's going to be Horde, is why I'm thinking Sylvanas. But I could easily see it being someone like Greymane or Anduin or something like that, too. But either way, they're not going to put comics out for characters they're going to drop, is my point.
Right.
So I was kind of surprised with them using Magni, because I'm like, where's Magni coming from? This is really interesting.
He's coming from the Earth because he's now a diamond. So
exactly,
that's it.
He's going to fight in battle for Azeroth.
That's right. Him and his lovely accent.
Yeah.
Third one. I got news for you. Breaking news. The third one is going to be Hogger.
Hogger. I like that.
We were both wrong.
It's going to be who's the head dude in the Scarlet Monastery? It's going to be that dude.
Yeah.
Just some.
If it's Hogger, that's confirmed. Next allied race for the Horde is going to be Knowles.
Oh. Of course, it's going to be for the Horde.
Oh yeah,
of course. That's it. I want Vulpera for the Alliance, but I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I'm still holding. Yeah, no, I'm not sure.
I think that's going to be a Horde ally race if it comes around. If it comes around.
Oh, it will.
So okay,
we are lacking something cute and annoying.
I thought that's what Blood Elves were.
Hello.
My apologies to all Blood Elves. Not really. Okay. So I have a question for you guys, and I saw it in the forums today, and I put it in the show notes, so you're not going to be surprised at all. But I saw something in the forums, and it was talking about the Mage Tower appearances, right? And one person from the community was saying, hey, you know, I understand that you want these appearances to be like the badge of honor for future expansions, the way of saying that, you know, hey, I was there, I did a thing, and it's for a limited time, and I'm one of the group that was able to get this stuff. But why? Why should we only, you know, have a limited time on some of this stuff, especially for artifact appearances, which are kind of a big deal, at least right now, right? I mean, you want those different artifact appearances for transmog, for whatever, and for, you know, druids everywhere. You want to get that rave bear going, you know, or you want to get that the werebear, sorry, and all of the different other forms. So, guys, Ornyx came back and said, well, hey, part of this is, yeah, we want it to be rare and kind of in the time, but also the other part is we don't necessarily want to be working on this anymore. we don't want to put in our resources into making sure that this is current content for you guys. We think that might be a little bit of a disservice. But my question to you guys is, you know, Mage Tower aside, because that has to do with some other mechanics. What do you guys think about these, the loot that is, you know, removed or rare in a time, and it was removed for whatever reason? What do you guys think about that? And should that be the case? I don't know. Thorn, do you have any particular opinions on this stuff?
I do. This game is built on achievements.
Yeah.
The end. I feel like this is like a non-argument. I feel like first of all, they missed the fact that there is development time that's devoted to this stuff, and I think that's fair. Okay, I think that's fair. I think it's easy to forget that part. You know, like, why wouldn't you just leave it in? I think that's fair if you're not thinking about the part where people have to maintain this stuff, because that's fair. You know, you don't think about having to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take out the maintenance part, it's fair to forget that part and not remember that people have to continue to devote time and resources to doing that.
Yep.
But forgetting that this is a game built on micro achievements that build on leveling, you know, hitting level 1, hitting level 2, that your whole character lighting up, and boom, you've just achieved something, right?
Sure.
And killing 10 things, and boom, you've just achieved something, and finishing a quest and your character lights up or whatever. Or I forget, you know, all the effects and all the psychological things that feed, and all of the feel good things that happen as a result, that make you feel good and make you want to continue, and that keep you up at night, and that say, oh, I know bedtime was an hour ago, but I want to do just one more quest, and I know I can just finish this quest line, then I can go to bed. All of the things that have kept us going over the years, and through all of the milestones, and through all of the good times, and through even all the bad ones. All of this stuff is built on all of these little achievements and all of these big ones. And so to just throw that all away and just say like, forget all that I was there stuff, is just, it's taking something that is so central to the heart and soul of this game and making it so minute that I think they're just missing the point in a huge way.
They do have they do have things like some, like, certain mounts in any expansion where there are rare mounts or whatever, and those continue to be available. And they do have certain other things, certain loot, certain whatever, that have been available through the years. But so you're saying for those ones that are their time is due, that's fine.
I'm saying that the argument that everything always, all the time, forever needs to be available, that they're missing the point.
Okay. No, that was just kind of a funny way of putting it. Everything, all the time, forever and ever needs to be there. Yeah. Otherwise, I will unsub right now.
I mean, but again, I am allowing for the fact that, you know, they're making a human argument. Sure. And if you allow for the fact that they're forgetting that there's actually, you know, development time behind this, then it's understandable, you know?
Yeah. For this one, I think everybody can kind of take a look at it and say, okay, that makes sense. That's okay.
Yeah.
So, Shark, thought?
Yeah, I feel sort of the same way. I think I was confused by the way that Thorn phrased it. This game is about achievements, period. And I think if we're not talking about the actual, like, ding, I got an achievement. I see this game is definitely based on achievement, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what I think you're trying to do. It's like, I could give anything about achievements. The only reason I go for achievements is for mounts or whatever, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And there's a lot of players like that, but I know there are a lot of players that the achievement score is really important to them and they want to rack this achievement and stuff. But I actually think it's smart. It's not just, you know, it's smart to have some exclusivity in some things.
Sure.
For example, obviously, like you said, the Mage Tower, there's some obvious technical reasons why, especially even right now, if you're doing it like, you know, if you're even normal level geared raider at this point and you're rocking like 930-ish or something like that, these achievements, especially for the DPS, are nowhere near as challenging, the Mage Tower, as it used to be, where it might take someone like 30 wipes to get it. Now a lot of people are able to do it in, you know, 3 to 4 tries once they figure it out and watch a video on it or whatever. Now just think about trying to go back and doing that when you're 120 with that gear. Like, it's just going to fall over.
Yep.
And so now, and then, oh, well, you can make it like challenge modes or not challenge or challenges, right? Where they, you used to be able to go in and talk to your, whoever in the
garrison,
Golden Lotus or the garrison. Yeah. And go in and do the get my gold challenge. Like, remember you had to test and get a silver challenge mode to be able to queue for heroics or whatever. Yeah. They could do it like that maybe and scale your gear down. But I think it's good. I like the idea of trophy achievements and trophy things in the game. For me, it's a badge. I know you can go back and get the Mythic Garage mount that's on a drop rate now, and it can, randomly drop if you're able to defeat Mythic Garage in Pandaria. But for me, I wear it. It's very proud because we killed Mythic Garage ahead of the curve, and I won the mount on the roll. When we did, what I mean? Yeah. So that mount, it's really important to me. It's exclusive. I have that. And that was when it was a guaranteed drop. And I did this thing that not many people other did. And I happened to win the roll when it happened. So
there were a lot of cries of cheating and
on the roll.
Oh yeah, on the roll.
Whatever. I also happened to be top of the meter that night, so it should have gone to me.
Sure.
But anyway,
roll 1 to 1,000.
Don't tell Tobo I said that. That was before he joined, I think. No, I think it was right. I don't know. Either way, he was probably on top.
Right.
Tobo's on top of every meter ever when he plays. But yeah, it's. I do think it's important to have things that are exclusive that you can't go back and get.
Sure.
Because when you are playing in the game and do a thing and another new player comes along or a player that wasn't playing during that time and look at, I have this that you don't have.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool feeling to have. Not for everything, obviously. Not for everything. We should be able to go back and do achievements. We should be able to grind old raid bosses and get there, get that Elegon mount that's so elusive or whatever. We should be able to do that forever for the entirety of the game. But I think not only is the question, it's, like Thorn said, I think people are missing the point. It's not even a neutral thing like, oh, yeah, what's it matter? We'll just do it. No, it's a good thing for the game. It's a healthy thing for the game for some things to have exclusivity. Because if you're the person with that thing, that makes you cool.
Yeah. Like, for example, I just got my Reddit 10-year badge. I basically won the internet.
Hey!
Suck it, everyone.
So now you can just... So that's it. Thorn is quitting the internet.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I'm legit.
Everyone.
Right.
Didn't Blizzard do something like that for someone that had, if you had 10 years of uninterrupted subscription to WoW, you got something in the mail?
There was a thing that was sent out...
Dairy's got it.
Last year or 2 years ago. Where they sent out a little statue. Yeah.
So I mean, that's cool. That's something
very cool.
You've done that other people haven't done.
It's really
you deserve acclamation for that. So I do hope they keep things like that in the game, not just because it's technically difficult to keep it updated, but because it's important for the game to have those little trophies. I think it's great.
Well, and if you guys have differing opinions out there, please feel free to let us know. You can always email us, converttoraid@gmail.com, or reach us on Twitter @converttoraid or whatever. Thanks for chiming in on that stuff. I think we do need to move on to different game. Let's go to Overwatch.
You won't get rid of me that easily.
There it is. So we have the Overwatch World Cup. They are preparing teams and all that stuff for the Overwatch World Cup. And if you don't know what the Overwatch World Cup is, then Thorn can probably tell you about it. But it's basically all the different countries getting together, and it's kind of like the Olympics of Overwatch. Right, Thorn?
USA!
So we'll get players from all the different countries, and they'll go and compete against each other. And right now they are actually getting together all of the coaches and community folks as well. And I just want to say that one of the people that's on this show, John Horseman, he is going for that community position, but he needs your help. He needs you to vote for him, really. And you can do it on the playoverwatch.com site, right, Thorn? I think that's it.
You can. I honestly have had trouble getting this site to work today.
I'm trying to get on it too, because and
it's been problematic. Like
there are so many
today.
people voting right now that the lines are busy. But you can do that, and you can vote for Kicked Tripod, John Horstman, and please do that, and let's see him get into that community position for Overwatch World Cup, because I want somebody on the inside to pull some strings or something. Yeah. I don't know. It'd be cool.
Get us all out there.
Yeah. Get us all
special backstage passes.
Something fun that we can bring back to you. Maybe. But definitely for us. So selfish. So selfish.
That's all right.
Thorn, I want to talk to you for a little bit about Overwatch, just in general.
Yes, let's.
Have you been enjoying the 2-year anniversary?
I absolutely have. I have been in heaven.
Yeah. What has been your favorite part of it, I guess?
I have very much enjoyed the rotating arcade. I have taken part in almost every day's worth of different throwback events. I think except for May's snowball event, because I'm not a big fan of that one.
That one's so hard. Oh, it's so difficult.
It's very difficult. I'm not a big fan, but I really, really like the Petra map, like I mentioned. So I've spent a lot of time in there, including in the competitive version. Yeah. Since they took it out of the non-competitive version a couple days ago, so I did dive into competitive and promptly got my behind whooped.
Nice.
Soundly.
Nice work.
Bottom 3, like every match I've done so far. I mean, just destroyed.
Hey, that's me every time I do deathmatch. Like solo deathmatch, always like right at the. If you need to look for my name, start at the bottom and work your way up.
Like,
right there with you, Pat.
That's me every time I turn Overwatch on. I'm just automatically at the bottom of every list ever.
Some cool
scenario.
So some cool things that Overwatch has talked about. They actually just released this little cool infographic thingy-mabobby to talk about the milestones that it's crossed over its second year, and just some of the things that are there. Number 1, 40 million players. That's pretty sweet.
40 million.
That's awesome.
What a milestone.
And I wonder how many of those are Smurf accounts. The next one. 6 new heroes, 15 new maps. All right, cool. I like that. 4 game modes, 6 seasonal events, and like over 2,000 items added, 200 plus skins, which have been, I think, for the most part, pretty fantastic. I don't have any complaints about any of the stuff that they've added. More stuff, sure. Why not?
More is better for sure.
They also did their numbers on damage, healing, and I can't remember what else. But it was.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think can I name my favorite one of those numbers?
Yeah. Please do.
The 751 million times that I need healing was spammed.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And let's see, 56 trillion objectives captured. Is that right? Million, billion, trillion? No, I guess that's billion. So, and then 38 trillion damage done. Over 38
a lot of damage.
Yeah. And let's see, million, billion. 17 trillion hit points healed. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is amazing. These numbers are insane.
You're right. Right. So they have the whole infographic, and that is on the Overwatch site. So that's sweet. I like that. I dig it. What's the next thing that they're going to be doing? What do you think? New hero? Well, that probably won't be for a while, right? There's nothing on the radar for that, right?
I don't know that they have anything on the radar that we know about, but since they just did a new map, the new hero is probably the next thing.
Aha.
Well, the next holiday is probably the next thing.
Yeah, probably. Just trying to think about what's coming down the line. All right, cool. Anything else as far as I know that we're, like all the other games, like we had a holiday weekend over this last weekend here in the States, And so I'm guessing that's why the news is so light this week.
Mm-hmm.
It
was free weekend as well.
Yeah,
for Overwatch.
They didn't want to work too hard this last week. They were like, you know what? Let's just do our job. Let's keep our nose to the grindstone. Let's do what we need to do, and then call it a week. And then,
if anybody is considering trying Overwatch, if you're tired of hearing the hype and you just want to find out what's up with it already, it's on sale.
Yeah,
it's half price if you want to try it. It's only like $19.99. Yeah,
$20 off. Yeah, that's not bad.
I'm a little jelly. I got to go to the jelly school. Legendary Edition, which is actually the original. What was it called? The Origins Edition, plus all kinds of extra stuff for all the other games.
Yeah,
is $39.99, which was the original price, which has all 15 skins, all of the original 5 skins from Origin Edition,
plus another
10 more. Yeah. Plus stuff for Diablo and StarCraft and Hearthstone and Warcraft, like the baby Winston pet for Warcraft.
Yep.
And then Tracer and Heroes and like all kinds of other stuff for the other games, all for $39.99.
It's all good.
And that goes until June 4th.
It's all good. It's all good. The only other piece of news that I really want to throw your way is that on June 2nd, starting at 2 p.m. Pacific, there will be a Heroes charity brawl, and that's going to have a bunch of guys like Scott Johnson, John Jagger, Bo Schwartz, the guys from Lords of the Storm,
Kyle and Garrett from Into the Nexus.
Yep, and Jules Scott is going to be there, and a bunch of folks. So that is going to be June 2nd, once again, starting at 2 o'clock Pacific time, Heroes Charity Brawl. So be looking for that one. Anything else as far as the other games go? Because I think
did you? Apologies if you already mentioned this maybe last week. The 3-year anniversary
for Heroes. For Heroes? No, I think I might have missed that. What was that?
So my apologies, but it is also it's the 2 years anniversary for Overwatch. It's the 3-year anniversary for Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, awesome! Well,
big up yourselves for the Heroes of the Storm. Yeah, that's so 3 whole years for that team. Awesome. They've really been killing it. They've come a long way. I was fortunate enough to be in the alpha for that team, and this game has come so far.
Really has.
A big old, 6.5 out of 10 for them. A for effort, and it's just
they updated that.
So fun.
They updated.
Did they really?
Yeah, they updated it. I think it's now at like an 8+. I can't remember where it was.
Okay.
But it's
they
updated the score from 6.5 out of 10.
It's very different.
Yeah,
they re-reviewed it because it was such a meme, and I think they admitted that they weren't being very fair.
Well, to be fair, it's a very different game than it was when they reviewed it then.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that too.
Definitely. Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to get out of here, but before we do, I would love to have you guys talk about where people can find you and all that kind of good stuff. Now, Shark, as I understand it, you're going to have Scott Johnson on next week's Merely a Setback.
What? Who? What?
I heard somewhere that your show, Merely a Setback, the one about lore of WoW and other stuff.
Storytelling.
I think that somebody, and I can't remember who, told me that Scott Johnson is going to be on your show next week.
Scott Hot to Trot Johnson?
Yeah.
That's going to happen. We're super excited.
So where's that at? So how can people find it?
We're going to be recording live. You want to be in the chat room on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And then it will be available on all of your podcasting stuffs, your Stitchers, your iTunes, your all of that, probably the next day.
Right.
So we'll be recording live, and that's at twitch.tv/Setback Podcast.
There we go.
And you can check out the show on our Twitter at Setback Podcast as well.
There we go. And Thorn, you do not have Scott Johnson coming up on your show, as far as I know.
I do not.
Right, but you have a delightful show. Why don't you tell people about that?
I do. I have a delightful show with a delightful fist. You may have heard of her. We are the Lagging Balls podcast. You can find us on laggingballs.com. You can find us on Twitter and Facebook and Twitch and pretty much everywhere else at Lagging Balls. And you can find me on Twitter at Thornbrow.
Yep. And you also have the LB stream on Friday nights, and
we do. Thanks, buddy.
Fun. That's fun.
Yeah. It's always
stuff.
a good time.
Yeah.
We tend to talk about random things. We once in a while have a slightly inebriated Pat Crane on there, which is always great.
Hey.
Is that the new drinking and swearing now? Is that
No,
what?
no.
That's
No. Drinking, swearing, fighting around the world. That's Pat.
So yeah,
No,
go catch them. And of course, for me, all the social media stuff, Pat Crane with a K, or at Convert to Raid. And now I'm going to play. I'm bail on this stuff. Play this. Play this.
Bail out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Bail out of it.
And please join in on the conversation we're having anytime. Please do. All the stuff that we were talking about with exclusive items for expansions and your thoughts on that. Love to hear what you got to say. Make sure to join the Bazooba Guaba Nation by heading over to converttoraid.com. That's where we have everything now. We have all the videos. We have all the audio. We have our not our forums, but we have our there are no forums anymore. But we have our guild stuff over there. And of course, the Convert to Raid podcast network that has all the different shows that these guys do, and all of our regular players for both Battlenet News and Battlenet Sports as well. Very cool. And we're now recording Battlenet Sports on Wednesdays because it's easier. It's not like you have to be fresh off of the weekend and go, oh yeah, I love the esports, all blah, blah, blah. So we do it on Wednesday, and then we can talk more about, hey, yeah, that was cool last weekend, but here's what's coming up this weekend. Oh! See what I did there? All right. That is going to do it for the show. Convert to Raid is produced and distributed by Signals Media. And Thorn, Shark, thank you guys so much for... Thank yous guys.
Yeah.
So much for hanging out. And thank you, Twitch chat, for being weird and awesome and amazing as always. And thank you, no matter where you're listening to us, whether it's in the car or at work or at home, or I don't know. Where else could it be? On the train? Yeah, thanks for...
plane?
Chasing kittens on the highway?
An automobile?
An automobile? Yes, all of that stuff. We really do appreciate that you're listening to us, and we hope that you will join us next time. For all of the guys on Convert to Raid, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Ooh, on the beach. That'd be a good place to listen.
I do not listen on the beach.
I do not listen with a leech.
Thank you. I was trying. My brain was
I do not.
Too much.
I will not listen in the waves. I will not listen with the guy named Dave. No, he's a jerk. I hate that guy.
Dave. Dude, Dave's the worst, though.
No,
he really
do not
is.
listen in a chair.
He's the worst raider.
Hold on a sec. Dave is a really nice guy. Dave is a really nice guy.
He is really...
He's a super nice guy, which is why he's on the team. But he's also the worst player on the
Dave.
team. So,
Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
I named my first Diablo character I Am Dave because of that.
Oh, yeah.
Because of that gag that you guys had on the show.
It's a good gag. It works.